general answer to the general questions. but this kind of dialogue is is not informative to many people. Okay, and people particularly need specific answer to the specific questions. Right. So I think the way I think about it is because different students have different backgrounds, and you ask the general question, have no clue, they cannot relate to it. Right. So you have to relate the question to in a particular way that the student can understand it. And students have different level of intelligence, right? If you answer in that way, that student here may not have no clue what you're talking about, right? So I think the way that Confucius addressed the question is a very interesting approach in education. Okay, I don't know I answered your question or not, but.
Okay, I was just wondering, you know, like with Buddhism, the Buddha sort of saw himself as the enlightened one, and like with Christianity of Jesus as sort of like he's the Messiah. Like I'm wondering,
in other religions, someone might think of himself as a prophet. In what way did Confucius think of himself or his role?
Yeah. Okay. I think. Okay. The Buddha think already he's a god, right? I mean, he already reached the stage. He's God, so he knows things. But Confucius is humble. He said, "I'm not God." And he admit that he's not God, and even he's not God, he have no clue what God look like. So he said, "Wow, let's try to understand what human beings should do, and then put aside the God's issues. Okay, what are the issues with really God?" So so all his teaching is really focused on how to become a human being instead of how to become God, or how to transition from a human being to God. I mean, that's not Confucius' teaching. Confucius is how to behave like a human being. That's why humanity is focus of his teaching, or him being how to become a human, right? So even though he has a standard, he has a high moral ground, looking at things as a human being, but he do not view himself as God, even though he believes in God.
How does he know how to be the best human being? Like, how did he come to that knowledge?
Okay, that's a very good question. That's a very interesting question. Okay, now if you put aside, okay, let me answer that by using Socrates' example. Okay, in the Bible, they say, love your labor, right? Love your labor because God tells you to. Okay, then Socrates raised the questions. You love your labor, is it the love itself is good? Or because God tells you to love your labor? Which one is more important? The good in itself, the love in itself is good, or because you do it because God tells you to do it? Okay, that's more fundamental than, because the Bible, the religion, you believe religion is the driving force, right? Then you do it because according to the Bible. That's fine. That's fundamentalist. That's we follow the Bible. But the more fundamental is the certain principle that good in itself, that we know is good by itself, not necessarily rely on outside force. I think that's what Confucius is thinking, or what Socrates is thinking. Have I answered your question? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In Confucian, it stresses loyalty to one's relationships and ancestors and elders, and it demands loyalty to those people. What if that loyalty that's demanded conflicts with the morality behind Confucius? So what if it was that loyalty requiring you to do something that was morally wrong? What would Confucian?
Yeah, that's a very fair question. For example, in U.S., we have certain fundamentals of values. Women's rights, okay? Babies' rights, right? Okay, which one is more fundamental? How would you address that? In the U.S., the only we address it in a legal society is going to the Supreme Court, right? So we can decide what's right or wrong legally. But morally, maybe you have your own moral principle. Maybe your religious or whatever. You have your own moral principle. That's fine. But as a society, what is the ultimate criteria to judge the difference? I think in Confucius, of course, there are always conflict because certain principles are more fundamental in conflict. Like as I mentioned to you, women's rights and the life of human beings, right?